2390, Strange Stone. Published by Divine Tao Library. Translator, Salavan and Rykov. Translation checker, Pew Pew Lasergun. Editor and proofreader, Leo of Zion Mountain and Dale Ligerkeys. Seeing Chen Fei go silent, Yang Kai sneered in his heart and didn't say any more. Who knew whether he was trying to cheat him by asking for cooperation? His sincerity alone left much to be considered. Otherwise, why would Yang Kai press him back so brusquely? People like Chen Fei obviously just wanted to use others, they were not reliable at all. Besides, even if the two of them worked together to get the item, who should be in charge of it in the end? But Chen Fei was right about one thing. The location of the exit was in Sangda's hands. If Sangda were to take control of the item necessary to reach the exit as well, then whether he brought him along would still be up to him. Naturally, if Chen Fei could think of it, Yang Kai could as well. Shi Lan and Man Kuai were no fools either. They had definitely considered this matter before, and that was why they followed closely with Sangda in case that guy decided to destroy bridges after crossing them. But Yang Kai felt that there was no use in following Sangda now. It was impossible for Sangda to spend 5 years gathering 5 people to come here just to break the 10 shades reflecting water grand array. There must be parts where their power was necessary after this. So, even if Sangda wanted to leave them behind, it wasn't time yet. Yang Kai was not afraid of anything. With his current strength and the help he had, Sangda would not be able to resist him. After finding the tool, if Sangda was sensible, he would naturally work together with him to leave this solitary void-sealed world. If not, then Yang Kai could only use force. Deep inside the island, some peculiar movements could be sensed from time to time, seemingly caused when Sangda managed to crack a spirit array. This showed that he was not only proficient in artifact refining, but also adept in spirit arrays. Most likely something he had learnt from his deceased master. An hour later, Shi Lan and Man Kuai both came back disheveled, both looking extremely unhappy. When Chen Fei heard the noise, he opened his eyes wide at them and asked in surprise, "Where's the Grandmaster?" He thought that Sangda had abandoned him and ran. Shi Lan did not answer, but Man Kuai said awkwardly, still breaking spirit arrays. "Then why did you guys?" Chen Fei knew the answer before he could even finish his question. Not only were Shi Lan and Man Kuai useless next to Sangda, they also suffered a lot at the hands of some of the spirit arrays, and that was why they retreated back here. Considering all this, he couldn't help but take pleasure in their misfortune. He felt inwardly thankful that he chose to stay, otherwise, he would have been in the same miserable state as the two of them. After returning, Shi Lan and Man Kuai both found a spot to sit down cross-legged so they could recuperate. Days passed by. During the past few days, none of them moved. Only a few strange movements could be felt coming from deep within the island from time to time, highlighting Sangda's process in his array-breaking journey. After a few days of rest, everyone had basically restored their strength. Each of them were filled with energy and inwardly rolled up their sleeves in preparation for the big job to come. At a certain moment, Man Kuai suddenly frowned. "Everyone, hasn't it been a while since we felt anything?" Over the past few days, they would hear some noise every now and then while Sangda was breaking the spirit arrays. But now, half a day had passed yet everything was still quiet. They couldn't help but feel suspicious at that. Grandmaster couldn't have. Chen Fei's face changed and he thought of a terrible possibility. When they heard him say this, all of their faces became serious. If Sangda was really killed by the spirit arrays left behind here, then it would be a disaster. At this moment, Shi Lan suddenly took out a communication bead and announced in pleasant surprise, "Grandmaster is asking us to go to him. He has already destroyed the spirit arrays along the way." All of them were shaken awake by those words and got up and headed deeper into the island. Along the way, traces of explosions could be seen, obviously the work of Sangda while breaking the spirit arrays. From the traces and residual power, Sangda was truly a peak Dao Source Realm master, and his strength was definitely not to be underestimated. Only after walking for a full hour did the group of 4 catch sight of Sangda's figure. He was sitting cross-legged in front of a stone wall at this moment. It could be seen that the days of breaking spirit arrays were quite exhausting for him and he appeared haggard and tired. However, he had clearly taken some pills before they arrived and was quickly restoring himself. Seeing that he was meditating, Yang Kai and the others did not disturb him. They just looked around the place. Soon, their eyes were attracted to a stone slab on the stone wall. The stone slab was flat and smooth, and from the looks of it, it seemed to be a door that was blocking their path to the land beyond the stone wall. Sangda was clearly meditating here because he was also blocked by the stone door. The crowd was curious as to why this was so because there didn't seem to be any traces of a spirit array's influence on the stone slab. Even though it was a strange material, this shouldn't be a problem for Sangde, right? All of them were experienced cultivators though, so despite their doubts, nobody touched the slab. They just quietly waited for Sangde to wake up. Who knew what sort of pill it was that Sangde used, but he was rosy-faced again in just a short hour. It looked as if he'd completely recovered. He slowly opened his eyes and stood up. Grandmaster. When Chen Fei saw this scene, he quickly called out, "What should we do now?" Sangde looked grimly at the stone slab. This is a door refined from exotic heavenly gold. It weighs 100,000 kilograms. We must rely on brute force if we wish to enter. Behind this is that thing's secluded home. The item we need is also hidden there. Exotic heavenly gold. The four others seemed to have heard this name before, and their eyes all lit up, staring hotly at the seemingly ordinary stone slab. Yang Kai was also very surprised. Even though he had previously thought that this stone slab was quite extraordinary, he did not expect it to be such a valuable thing. Exotic heavenly gold was an emperor-grade artifact refining material, and it could not be more suitable for advancing artifacts into the emperor grade. It was a treasure that many emperor realm masters could only seek, but could not find. Yang Kai did not expect such a large piece of it to be on this island. And it was a stone slab used to block the entrance to someone's secluded home. Sangde's master truly was extravagant. If this piece of exotic heavenly gold were to be taken out and sold, it would definitely fetch a sky-high price. It could cause countless emperor realm masters to go mad trying to fight for it. Seeing the crowd's reaction, Sangde frowned. "Man Kuai, I'll leave this up to you." Upon hearing this, Man Kuai understood and nodded. "Rest assured, Grandmaster. I don't dare speak for anything else, but my physical strength is still something I am proud of." Sangde said it very clearly. This stone slab that was made of exotic heavenly gold could not be broken through attacks, only pushed away with brute force. Among the five of them present, Man Kuai was definitely the most suitable candidate for the job. Perhaps the reason why Sangde chose Man Kuai to come on this expedition in the first place was because of his raw strength. Man Kuai went up to the stone slab. Then, with a serious face, he began circulating his strength. It was not known what secret technique he was operating, but his already burly body grew even larger. His swollen muscles were filled with explosive force, and his current stunning appearance caused Shilan's beautiful eyes to glow with a strange light as her heart thumped. With a yell, Man Kuai slowly pushed his hands forward. When his large, fan-like hands came in contact with the stone slab, a muffled sound could be heard. It felt like two mountains colliding with each other, so astonishing that even the island seemed to shake. They were all amazed by Man Kuai's incredible strength. Even Yang Kai was stunned. He was confident in his own physical strength, but compared to Man Kuai, there still seemed to be a gap between them. If they were simply competing with physical power alone, then he may not be Man Kuai's opponent. This world was indeed filled with people with extraordinary abilities unique to each domain. Good, good. Man Kuai, you really did not disappoint this old master. Sangde was very surprised as a pleasant smile finally appeared on his face that was tranquil as an ancient well this whole time. After this, the next parts will be much easier. Based on his words, this seemed to be the most difficult bit of this trip. But that wasn't surprising. A stone slab weighing over 100,000 kilograms that can only be pushed by brute force. Not many people in this world could achieve such a feat. Yang Kai estimated that it was definitely impossible to find another person that fit that requirement on Clear Sky Island. The most important character during the 5 years that Sangde spent searching was most likely someone like Man Kuai. Grandmaster, have you been here before? Yang Kai pondered and asked. If he hadn't been here before, how would he know the situation inside, and why would he know so much about this place? He broke the spirit arrays along the way with no pressure at all. It was a long time ago. Sangde answered casually, not saying anything more. Zhi. A harsh creak sounded. The stone slab made of exotic heavenly gold was gradually pushed away under Man Kuai's immense power, and a small gap was revealed on the stone wall. Seeing this situation, Man Kuai let out another roar and pushed harder. The gap was growing bigger and bigger. Sangde stared at it wide-eyed, appearing extremely nervous. All of a sudden, Man Kuai frowned and called out in surprise, "Grandmaster. Something doesn't feel right." "What's wrong?" Frowning, Sangde quickly asked. Man Kuai responded, "This stone slab. There seems to be a strong suction force coming from it. Grandmaster, are you sure it's fine to just push it like this?" Sangde coldly snorted, "What problems could there be? Hurry up and push it out of the way." Even though Man Kuai could vaguely feel that something was wrong, he still put his trust in the expert here and added more force into his push, widening the gap into one large enough for one person to pass through. Seeing this situation, Sangda shouted, "Get inside." Yang Kai and the others who had already been prepared naturally rushed in one by one. As soon as they rushed inside, they heard Man Kuai suddenly screaming in terror as if he had encountered a terrible situation. Following that, he shouted, "Grandmaster, save me." What happened? Shi Lan quickly turned around and asked with a pale face. Man Kuai was perfectly fine pushing the stone slab when she was rushing in just now, so how did things go awry in the blink of an eye?